Could you get up soon?
Hello, welcome to another monthly money reset. Today we are resetting for the month of October, which is wild that it's that late in the year. Once it hit July, that's how I felt about every month. It was crazy when it hit August, it was crazy when it was September, and now it's crazy that it is already October. I'm strangely excited for the fall this year. Usually I am not a fall girly. I love summer, and then I love all things Christmas. Like, I don't love winter weather, but Christmas is my absolute jam. And then fall is just this cold, chilly time in the middle that I try to pretend doesn't happen. But this year, I feel very differently, and I know exactly why. It has everything to do with the weather where I am right now. It is still very warm. It's 86 degrees outside right now. So I'm loving that I just get to be fall adjacent this year. I don't have all the weather things that are inside of fall, but there's all the other wonderful things about fall, like my pumpkin spice candle. I can order a pumpkin spice latte, and there's chocolate candy corn in the store. It's all the wonderful things about fall without the weather that I don't love. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Kayla. I'm 26. I am currently working as a travel physical therapist, and so my finances, my living situation, my life in general is just a little bit wonky and often up in the air. I usually do contracts for about 3 months at a time. So I'll work for 3 months, take a break, go home and see family, and then I will work again. And right now I am in Houston, Texas, and working. Yeah. I post a lot of personal finance content. I really like to peel back the curtain and just be transparent about my finances. Every month I post these monthly money reset videos where I break down my spending for the previous month, my savings, my investments for the previous month, reflect a little bit on the month, set up some goals for the new month, and set my budget up for the new month. I also really like posting lifestyle content, vlogs, things like that, which I have not been on my game for recently. I think I posted maybe one vlog in September. Life has just been lifing, man. September was a rough month, but we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna go ahead and start by reflecting on the month of September. That's something new for me. I used to head straight into my budget and then reflect on the month, set goals, yada, yada, yada. But I have been finding that it's nice for me to just start by reflecting on the month and kind of word vomit all the things I'm feeling about the month. I really feel like it's therapeutic to do a reflection on the month before trying to reset for the new month, because I know that what happens with me is that I realize there are things that I didn't like about the month or things I did like about the month that if I didn't verbalize them and take time out to intentionally just feel my feelings about them, I think I'd likely just kind of repeat some of the same mistakes from the previous month. So yeah, I like to start by doing a little reflection. September was really a transitional month for me. I was working June, July, August, from June to August, and then I took a break in September. Not to rewind too far, but the contract that I was on from June to August was just really a rough one for me. I had a really tough time finding work-life balance, and I talked about this in the vlog that I posted recently, but I just really wasn't feeling like myself. I had a hard time finding my footing with things. I didn't even post a September monthly reset because by the end of that contract, I just felt like I needed to take a deep breath and take a step back from everything and just start to feel like me again. And so I think that's what I did for most of September, just use the month to try to feel like myself again. I've tried to start up some new habits again. I am going to the gym more consistently. I went 3 times last week. As far as finances go for September, it was really just a flying by the skin of my teeth, trying to make it kind of month because I only got 1 paycheck. I wasn't able to save any money. I did a good job of not doing too much unnecessary spending because I didn't have money to spend unnecessarily. I also did a little bit better job of reading this month just because I have had more free time since I haven't been working. I've got a fun book that I'm reading and then a not so fun book that I'm barely reading. My fun book is Rush. My not so fun book is my house hacking strategy book. I have brought up so many times that I'm going to finish this book. It was a goal of mine in August to finish this book. And if I'm being honest with myself, I feel like I'm probably having a little bit of anxiety around the entire house buying process. It was initially a goal of mine to buy a house this year with my fiance, and that isn't gonna pan out. I needed to be home a little bit longer than I anticipated this year. I thought I was gonna be able to be in Texas earlier because the goal is to buy a house in Texas. And so yeah, it's not gonna pan out for this year, but definitely I'm trying to be starting on the process now so that by the beginning, middle of next year, it's something that will be a thing. The whole reason that we want to get a house is so that we can house hack. So just meaning renting out some of the rooms while we're living in it. And I think I just feel very impostery about the whole thing. I'm just like, what do I know about buying a house? Yeah, the entire process is stressing me out. And there's definitely a little bit of avoidance happening where I'm just avoiding reading that book, learning more about house hacking, because I think the more that I read, the less knowledgeable I feel. It just points out to me how many things I don't know about. And yeah, it's scary. So definitely a goal of mine for October to be more intentional about getting into my house buying plan. But we'll talk about that more after going over my September budget. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna open it up on my computer. Okay, here's my budget for the month of September. Total income is about $3,000. Expenses also about $3,000. I saved nothing, and my subs and bills were about $1,000. I usually look over that right here in my overview tab. And even though my income and my expenses ended up being about the same, I did start the month with a good amount of money in my checking account. And I did that very much on purpose. I got paid at the end of August, and I knew that I wasn't gonna be paid many more times in September. And so I just didn't move any of the money into savings after my last paycheck in August, and I just let it all roll over into September. Even this income number right here is a little bit inflated because I ended up having to take a lot of money out of my savings. I'm gonna put my drink down for this one. It's just water, by the way. I said my drink, and I feel like that immediately got alcoholic. I had to take a good amount of money out of savings in September, and that's just kind of the nature of my job. If I'm going to put myself in a position where I'm working for a couple months and then not working for a month or however long that is, I'm gonna have to draw money from savings. I really debated not even sharing a video this month because sometimes I feel like that situation isn't relatable. But when I thought about it more, I felt like maybe it could be helpful to share my finances anyways this month, even though it's not the most perfect, stable month. There probably is someone who's watching who has a little bit of fluctuation in their finances month to month. I know that if you have a part-time job or something like that, that can fluctuate. Or maybe you want to have more fluctuation purposely. Maybe you want to be in the position where you are working for a couple months at a time or taking time off. I think there are a lot of really unique financial situations out there. Not everyone is going to have this super consistent monthly income. And so I felt like it could be nice to share to show what I do when I have a fluctuation like this, how I manage to stay above water, because stuff happens. That being said, scrolling down to my income, like I've said, I got paid one time this month. It was $1,300. Got a little bit of money from credit cards, and then everything else was me taking money out of savings. So in total, I took $1,500 out. I took $600 from my emergency fund, $500 from my travel PT sinking fund, and then $400 from my time off sinking fund. I'll run through my sinking funds later when I get over to savings, which is nothing. Wait, I guess I might as well run through them now because I didn't save anything this month. Okay, so my sinking funds. If you haven't heard of sinking funds before, it's like a way to organize your savings account. And I started making sinking funds, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago or something like that. I first heard about them from watching Carter Sullivan's videos. I've really enjoyed having specific buckets of money for specific crises or times in my life. And I guess I still haven't explained what a sinking fund is. Okay, Kayla's definition of a sinking fund. It is a fund that you have usually housed within your savings account. For me, I have sinking funds within my high yield savings account. And this fund is for a specific purpose, a specific thing that might happen. For example, I have a car sinking fund in case I have any unexpected car mechanic bills. I have a time off sinking fund because I know that I take time off a lot. A vacation sinking fund so that whenever I want to go on vacation, it's not like a huge shock to my bank account because I've already set money aside. A gifts sinking fund, it's so hard to say gifts, which mostly gets piled up for Christmas, but I sometimes take money out as different family members' birthdays and things like that come up throughout the year. But anyways, those are sinking funds. I really liked having sinking funds, and I think that they've helped me be more honest with myself about how much money I truly have saved, because before I was using them, anytime anything came up, it was all coming out of my emergency fund. And sometimes it felt like it was for things that weren't an emergency. Like I'm taking money out of my emergency fund for gifts for Christmas. That didn't feel like an emergency. And at the end of the day, it's the same money. If I have $5,000 in my emergency fund and $5,000 in different sinking funds, I still have $10,000 collectively, but I'm not fooling myself into thinking I've got $10,000 saved that's not going to be used unless there's a true emergency. I know that truly 5,000 out of that 10,000 has a set purpose, and it just takes some of the guilt for me out of taking money out of my saving account. Expenses. So groceries were a little bit over, but not truly over. I am very consistent in the fact that I usually spend $550 on groceries each month, somewhere around there. I definitely average to that number. But I was home for the month of September, so I was hoping that I could have a smaller number with groceries. Originally, I only budgeted $300, but as I started to creep past that number, I was like, okay, that's not gonna be realistic. What really pushed me over the edge though was I moved into our place in Houston. The first grocery haul, anytime I move to a new place, is always so expensive because there's always a couple things that the new place doesn't have. I bought bug spray, a new container of dish pods. I have to get new butter, eggs, milk every single time that I move. So it doesn't super surprised me that I went over on groceries. Eating out is over as well. I already looked through my budget a little bit and I ate out 8 times this month. I'm a sucker for Chick-fil-A and I am extremely disappointed that they are not bringing back their banana pudding milkshake. They had it last year, seasonal for the fall. And when it went away last year, I was like, what are we doing? I have been waiting all year long to get back at that banana pudding milkshake. And now they want to do cherry berry and pretzel buns. I'm so disappointed. Clearly, it didn't disappoint me enough to not buy Chick-fil-A though, because like I said, I ate out 8 different times. So I know I'm making a goal for myself next month to only eat out 4 times. Gas is a little bit lower than I expected it to be. Gas is cheaper here in Texas. And I definitely drove Devin's car more than mine when we were back home. Devin got a Tesla recently and he can charge for free at his parents' house. And so I've been taking full advantage of that. Health and beauty is over budget, but it's something that was just really out of my control this month. I try not to get down on myself when I have a number that's over budget that was out of my control, because it's not lack of self-control or anything like that. Things just happen. Most of my health and beauty spend this month is from doctor bills and then also from just paying for health insurance, which is another not fun reality of taking a long break off from work, because I take so much time off in between jobs that I'm genuinely considered unemployed in between my jobs. Since I turned 26, I've been trying to figure out what I'm gonna do long-term about health insurance. I looked into the private route, and that is so ridiculously expensive. We do have the Affordable Care Act for people like me who are in the position where they're not employed, they need health insurance. It makes it a little bit more affordable and it's open for everybody. Sometimes what happens with private health insurance is that if you have a chronic condition or you're someone who has a lot of health concerns, private insurances will deny you. And so with the Affordable Care Act, that can't happen, and that's wonderful. But most of the plans in the Affordable Care Act are state specific, so your health insurance will cover you as long as you are in that state, which really doesn't work for me because I'm moving states every 3 months. And so I was looking into private health insurance options. I didn't love the plan options that I had, and so I decided to do Cobra instead. My hope is that I'll be able to get on Devin's health insurance plan. In the meantime, I did have to pay the premiums for my Cobra health insurance, and I had a dentist appointment that was out of pocket because my Cobra hadn't kicked in yet. And so that's why health and beauty is so expensive. Those are the woes that come with not having a stable job. Doodads, which is my fun money. Anything I spend just for me goes in my doodad category. I only spent $33 on doodads, but I do think that's because most of my fun money spending happened for my birthday trip that I took, which was $260. For my birthday, I did something small. Devin and I just spent the weekend in Virginia Beach, but we did a wine festival and it was so much fun. I'd never been to a wine festival before. I love a good wine tasting. I love a good vineyard. I just love it. And the wine festival, the way it worked was there were all these booths, and every single booth was doing a tasting, 15 to 20 tastings. You could not taste everybody's wine, but I had so much fun because I would go and do a tasting with one group or 2 groups and be like, okay, I need a break. And then we'd sit on the beach, hang, talk, listen to the live music, chill, and decide we were ready to go do another tasting. So that's what I did for my birthday this year. I'm 20, oh wow, I'm 27 now. In my intro, I said I was 26. I'm 26. I'm so used to saying I'm 26. I've been 27 for 17 days now. Clearly not used to that yet. Miscellaneous spending. Oh, my miscellaneous spending was very high. I've been considering if I need to make a category for this, but I don't think I will. So many things have been happening over this month. I started taking an IT course. I have been looking to make a career switch for a while now. I just really want a position where I can work at least hybrid, but I think I'm leaning towards fully remote. I just would like time where I don't always have to be outside of my house in order to be doing my job. And so I'm taking an IT class where I'm hoping to learn how to be a business analyst. And then in a perfect world, I would work full-time as a business analyst from home, and then also part-time doing physical therapy, because I love doing physical therapy. It's something that I enjoy. It's just not something I want to have to do 40 hours a week and be outside of my home for 40 hours a week. I'm just not into it. So I paid $500 towards that class this month. The only other expense is travel PT. That was $1,000 to ship my car from Virginia to Texas. And like I said, I will get reimbursed partially for that. As far as subs and bills go, nothing really changed. I didn't pay for Canva yet. That charge just hit my credit card yesterday, and I'm doing my reset right now. We're closing out September. Whatever did not make it in, did not make it in. And so that will be something I pay for in October. My student loan is still my highest bill after rent. Car insurance stayed the same. Spotify didn't go up at all. I heard they're gonna take Spotify up to $12.99. I'm not very happy about that. And then savings. I didn't save any money. Surprise, surprise. And that's it. The month of September wrapped up. All right, goals for October. I took some time just now, like 5 minutes ago, to just sit down and write some things down in my notes section, because when this video started, I had no idea what I wanted my goals for October to be. And that's why it's so important to sit down and reflect on the previous month, go through your budget, because now I feel like I have such a clear idea of what I want from October, and just sitting down and talking about it made that very clear for me. So I do want to consistently be working out. I want to follow a consistent workout plan. Even if I go to the gym 4 days a week, if I'm just doing random exercises each time and not really following a plan, I feel so random, and I feel like I'm not accomplishing anything because it's just a different thing every day. But when I follow a consistent workout plan, then I'm able to progress the exercise I'm with. I can add weight, I can add reps, I can make it more difficult, and it just feels more like I'm accomplishing something. So it's important for me to be consistently following an actual plan, and that's what I want to do in October. Next thing I want to do, even just like, I need to do this thing. I don't want to do this thing, but sometimes it's good for us to do the things that we don't want to do. I need to finish this house hacking book. I already talked about kind of the anxiety I have around that, and I probably should have mentioned this other goal first. So my first goal is to make a whole guide for myself for the house buying process. I'm the kind of person where I'm gonna feel more comfortable about something once I have a plan. So what I really wanna do this month is make a guide for myself for everything I need to do in order to purchase a house. What I need to go get a loan, how much money is the house gonna be, what would likely my down payment be, what am I looking for in an area where I wanna buy a home. All those questions are constantly floating around in my head, and I haven't really made a checklist or a guide for myself in order to actually tackle those questions and accomplish them. I think making the guide first will make me feel better about the book though. Sometimes I feel like I'm reading the book and I'm getting all this information about how to be a landlord and have renters, and I'm like, I don't even have a house. I don't even know how I'm gonna get a house. So the guide will come first, and then once I finish that, I'll try to finish the house hacking book. I wanna have one big new experience. I don't want this to be, I went to a new restaurant. I want it to be bigger than that. The 2 contracts that I enjoyed the most were when I was in Hawaii and also when I was in Arizona. There's just so many different hikes and outdoor things you can do in Arizona, and then Hawaii is just Hawaii. And I really didn't have many new experiences at my last contract. I was in Maryland, which is very close to my house, and I think just being in my hometown, I was like, I've done everything here. But now I'm in a new city again. I want to do something new, because when I'm experiencing new things, I just feel better. I feel more like me. I feel more like I'm leading an adventurous life, and it's something that I enjoy. So I want to do a new experience this month, and then post 3 videos on YouTube. I would love to post 4. I would love to be posting weekly and get back to what I was doing before this kind of life slump, but I also just want to be realistic with myself, and it's going to be hard to go from posting 1 video in August, 1 video in September, and then just bam, posting 4 videos in October. But we're having a great start. We're starting off wonderfully. This will go up at the end of this week. And those are my goals for the month. Those are all the things I would love to achieve in October. And now we can look at my October budget. I have already input a couple of things in here, just some of the last minute expenses from September, like my Canva bill that I know I will not pay for until October. So I went ahead and put some of those down here in my transaction tracker, and that is why some things are already showing up in my charts. I brought over $430 from September, so that's my starting balance. And then I like to keep this budgeted start balance at $656.36, because that is exactly what I had starting the year. So in January, that is how much I started my checking account with. And I try to work off of a zero-based budget where every dollar has a job. And so this is kind of the number that I'm shooting for at the end of each month, because that's my true zero. But as far as income goes, I don't exactly know what my pay is going to be for this job yet. It's so weird with travel contracts. They'll tell you what your gross pay is, so what your pay is before they take out some of the taxes, but they won't promise you what your net pay will be, because taxes work a little bit different in every state. And then specifically because I'm doing home health physical therapy right now, which just means that I drive out to patients' houses in order to provide them care, I also get reimbursed for mileage, so that paycheck looks a little bit different every month. I think it should be around $2,100 each week. That is just my guesstimate number. So that's what I put for my budgeted. For expenses, I'm budgeting $550 for groceries, $50 for eating out, which I should be able to stick to if I stick to only going out 4 times in the month. And when I say eating out, The category is for anything, like if I go to a restaurant or anything like that. But when it comes to that type of eating out, Devin covers that. The eating out that I have to pay for myself is when I'm just out and I decide that I would like a McDonald's chocolate shake, or I decide that I would like some Chick-fil-A with mac and cheese. It's truly just fast food. The eating out category should just say fast food. There's no reason that I need to have fast food more than once a week. So I should be able to stay under that number. Gas is a lot cheaper in Texas, and I usually hit around $200 for my car when I'm doing home health because I fill up once a week, but I'm gonna be driving a lot. Patients that they want me seeing live very far from each other here at this contract. So I am overestimating. I feel like I'll probably be closer to the 200 number, but just in case, I don't want to underestimate what I might spend on gas. Health and beauty is kind of up in the air right now. If I have to pay my premiums again for health insurance, then I'll end up blowing that number out of the water. But Devin's enrollment for his health insurance plan is this month. And so my hope is that that goes smoothly and then I don't need to pay my premiums. So if I have a normal month, $150 should be plenty for health and beauty. $50 for social, that's just what I budget every month. Doodads, it looks like I've been quite generous with myself. I budgeted $200. We're gonna take that down to $150. We don't need to be all the way up at $200. Miscellaneous, this is less of what I'm budgeting and more of what I know is going to happen. If you will see, the miscellaneous number is already at $819 for the month. My car broke down on the side of the road just a couple days ago, and I had to get it towed to a mechanic, and this was their bill to me, but it's something that I am not gonna pay for until I get my first paycheck. So it has become an October expense. And then I also know that I need to pay another $500 for my IT class this month. And so all that is just falling under miscellaneous. It's funny because I was gonna use this month to bulk up my car sinking fund in the event that anything happened, and I was just a month too late because the thing already happened. If I bulk up this car sinking fund though, and I need to use it again anytime soon, my little Honda is gonna have to count her days because Devin has an EV, his entire family has electric vehicles, and all of them are trying to convince me to switch to the electric side. And I'm like this close. I'm like one more breakdown away. It's just that my car is fully paid off. It was a gift to me from my parents when I went to physical therapy school, and I love not having a car bill. There's nothing in me that wants to have a car payment. It's just fingers crossed that nothing else happens to my car. Moral of the story. And then travel PT, $150. Oh, that's how much money that I think I will have to spend on scrubs this month because somehow I left all of my scrubs in my storage unit. That is also something that they will reimburse me for on my fourth paycheck. Nothing new is happening with subs and bills. Nothing really exciting. So moving on to something I am excited about, which is my savings. I will finally be able to save money again this month. It's felt quite horrible to not be able to save any money for the month of September. So I want to do $1,000 to me and Devin's joint account, which we use for our joint expenses or our future joint ventures. We hope to use the money in that account to help us buy our first house and also help pay for our wedding, whenever the heck that may be. The goal right now is to purchase the home this year and then do the wedding in 2027, but I am truly in no rush for that. The longer it takes, the more money I get to save towards it. I want to contribute $1,400 to my long-term investment account, $400 to my Roth IRA, $600 to my gift sinking fund. I think that once I put that $600 in, that's just gonna be the Christmas money because I'll start buying gifts in November and that will just be what we're working with for Christmas money. But I am going to contribute to my car sinking fund. Go ahead and put $400 in there. But that is it. That is the month of October fully set up, fully budgeted for. I feel like I made a lot of goals for this month, so I'm a little bit nervous heading into it and trying to achieve all of them. But I'm also, like I said earlier, just excited for the month. I'm excited for the fall season for the first time in forever. And so I'm trying to embrace that a little bit. As always, thanks for hanging out with me while I set up my budget. This process is so much more enjoyable when I'm talking it out and it's not just all in my head while I get it set up. I will see you very, very soon in another video. Bye.